What's up, everyone? Today, first step, new series, anime reviews. Today I'm reviewing episode 9 of Jujustsu Kaisen. This is a great show. If you're not watching this show, you're fucking up big time. It reminds me of Demon Slayer in the fact that it's got a real high quality animation. I don't know if it's like a unlimited budget or something, but it's a great looking show. And already early on, it's only 9 episodes in. We're reviewing episode 9 today. A few great characters, likable characters. But anyways, let's get to episode 9. If you watched episode 8, at the very end, we see 3 corpses inside of a movie theater that are just mutilated. The heads are like misshapen. It's weird. I think there's a description even that says something about they died. The cause of death on those was like due to cranial pressure or something, cranial deformity, something crazy like that. And then you see 2 characters, one walking down an alley, dark path, kind of white-haired guy, doesn't look normal. He's got stitched up clothes, kind of looks like a wreck. And we actually saw this guy before. He was with that like other evil guy that looks kind of human. Later on they meet up at the beach, and this was that same guy that was on the beach chilling with the evil homies. So anyway, there's this kid following that exact guy down this dark alley, and he asks him, was that you? Or something. He's like, could I do that? So it's kind of weird. And then of course the evil white-haired guy is like asking the question, you can see me? So that kind of gives us a hint at the end of that episode 8. We're thinking this guy's a curse, like some of the other curses we've seen so far. So anyways, episode 9, he starts out and he's getting his ass kicked by these 3 dudes, and there's just a girl watching. Apparently he's just getting his ass kicked because the girl said he looked at her or something like that. He looked at her inappropriately. We're going through his perspective. He's talking in his head, and it's clear he didn't do it. So this kind of plays into the thing that this show has been doing already, that where in this world, curses are created through everyday people's emotions and fears and angers, whatever it may be, towards certain things. So I think it does a good job illustrating that. When he's getting, kicked around on the ground, there's a nice little animation of like some like evil, like scary faces like coming out of them, like towards him. It just like switches to it for a minute. Kind of thinking that's where this white-haired guy comes in. It kind of cuts between him getting his ass kicked, and then it flashes in between that, and then he's at the movie theater, and these same guys are in the movie theater. They all ditched school, apparently. Not together, but he went to see a movie, and these guys coincidentally are in the theater. They don't know he's there, but he's just trying to watch a movie, and they're just being loud, obnoxious. And then we see that white-haired guy, the apparition or whatever, the curse, he comes in, fucking blows these guys' heads out of proportion, and it's crazy. Nothing like too super exciting yet, but when he goes and looks at him, he's like, what the fuck? So he runs out and chases down the demon, and then that's kind of where we see what happened at the end of episode 8, where he's trying to talk to him, and he's talking to him now in the episode. Cut to Itadori. First time we see him in this episode, he's with a guy we've never seen before, and he's already showing off. They're already talking about new stuff we haven't seen before. Residuals, or they call it residuals, but he's basically like, they leave when someone uses curse energy, it leaves residuals. And he's just like, you just got to look real hard, and you can see them, and like you can sense them before they're there, or before you even see them, or something like that if you're good. But it's just kind of weird that he's he hasn't seen any of this stuff before, and then all of a sudden now it's not real complicated. All he has to do is look real hard, and then he could see it. That was kind of like, okay, like, all right, we're definitely like in some anime shit. But like, I was like, okay, just throw that in there, like whatever. Like, I guess we can say Itadori's he's like naturally talented. He's super strong, so like maybe we can just throw that in there. Plus he's got the Sukuna in him, so or some of it, so maybe we can put that to that. But at first I was kind of, when I saw this guy, I was like, I don't remember this guy from last time. Like, did I miss something? But it kind of just, they're going through the movie theater looking at this stuff, and he's just like, they're kind of like not on point with each other. Itadori's like, yeah, let's go, and he's just like, no, we could just have a moderate effort or something. It's like, what the hell is going on? Like, dude, like, he's trying to give it his all. But yeah, this guy seems like he's very straightforward. But then it cuts to like right after Gojo, our fucking god teacher with the white hair. I was thinking he was like Kakashi at first with that eye mask and the white hair, but yeah, he's a beast. It cuts, flashes back, and he's like, hey, I can't help you out with this next thing, but I got my guy. He's gonna help you. And like, he's introducing him to Itadori, and he's like, yeah, he was a businessman, but he was this too, so like, he's not an oddball like a lot of other sorcerers. So it's actually really funny when he brings him in. He's like, because I guess they made it seem like he was a Jujutsu sorcerer first, and then he became a salaryman. So he's just like, what's going on? Like, why didn't you do that? And he's like, well, when I started Jujutsu, like, I learned that, like, I learned one thing. And he's like, what? He's like, Jujutsu sorcerers are shit. He's like, Itadori's like, what? And Gojo's like, what? What the hell's going on? And then like everything after that is like the same thing. It like cuts to him in this like super serious face, like, oh yeah, salary business, that was shit. And he's like, it's super funny. He's even like, hey, don't talk to me like Gojo. He's like, because I don't respect him or something like that. It's crazy. It's pretty funny. And Gojo's even like, what? Like, he's like freaking out about it. It's really funny. It's actually, I really enjoyed it. Makes him likable after that first like interaction where you're like, oh, this guy's like some hard ass. Like, what the hell? But yeah, it's funny. So anyways, he links up, Itadori links up with this guy, Nanamin. Or Nanamin? What was it? Anyway, from there, it flashes back forward to now where they had that little kind of part in the movie theater where they're like checking out the area. And they go up to like outside, and there's like a little like a batting cage almost near the movie theater on the roof. And then there's two demons, and then this is where we kind of see Nanamin's fucking, is it Nanamin? We get to see his Jujutsu sorcery, and he puts a line, I don't know, it looks like it's just through his vision, but like, and on that line between a certain numbers, I think it was between 7 and 10, he gets like a critical hit, like kind of on video game, like it's pretty sweet. He totally slashes the demon he's fighting, or the curse he's fighting's legs off with the dull side of his blade, and the blade's wrapped up, so it's like super, like he's like legit. Yeah, he kicks ass. And then Itadori's like, he's kind of getting thrown around at first, but they're like, it's like pretty comical at first. He's like trying to tell him, he's doing the classic like anime trope, like, I'm going to tell you my exact ability, like everything about it, like to the enemy. But he's like kind of explaining it to Itadori and kind of like, and us. And it's like, it's pretty cool. He's like, you want to do that. Like it's better. Like the payoff's better. Like it's kind of cool. It makes it like, it makes it seem like it's a legitimate strategy, even though everyone just knows it's like an anime trope kind of thing. But it's cool. He like slashes the legs. It's pretty cool. But like you could tell like, oh, this guy's like, he's pretty strong. And then when he like when it's done like having him be a badass, like he's like, all right, Itadori, like go ahead and finish your guy off. You know what I mean? And like we get to see Itadori like he's using his like because he uses his fighting basically because he's like super strong already, and he like kind of powers up some curse energy in his hands, and then it like kind of flashes back to him training with Gojo, and he's like, it's kind of like they make it sound like it's a bad thing, like he's his curse energy doesn't like, you know, he doesn't gather his curse energy like very fast compared to like how his body moves, so he hits. Like he makes contact with a strike with his fist, and then the curse energy comes like a second later. They kind of make it sound like a bad thing at first, but then like Gojo names it, and he's like, "It's this like cursed." I can't remember exactly what he calls it. He calls it Divergent Fist, and it just looks like, first of all, when like Itadori puts the cursed energy around his hands, like. It's got to be one of the most badass, like it's some of the coolest animation. Like it's kind of like, I feel like I might just be a little bit like standing here, but like it's like it reminds me of Demon Slayer when like Tanjiro he gets a sword and like the water flows around it. It's like super cool. And then he's just like standing there, and then he punches and hits, and then like you can see like the indent of his fist, and it does like a really good job to like explain that Divergent Fist, how it's like kind of like a 2-hit. Like he punches and it has like the outline of his fist on the back of the demon, and then like just like all that like curse energy wells up and like blows a hole through him. Oh, it's really fucking cool. It's badass. And then even Nana means like, oh, like I see why he like wanted him to be around me, because like his regular strength is like superhuman, and then you add that on, he's like, if he can get the curse energy with his regular like talent, like his regular strength, like he's gonna be like nuts. So he's like kind of like, he doesn't say it out loud, he's talking in his head, but he's like, he basically is like, hey, if this dude figures it out, he's gonna fuck shit up, because like, and then he's like, that's obviously like painful, and it shows like the demon, it kind of, they made it look more like the demon's crying because he's like in pain. But anyways, like Nanamine's going to finish him off after all this kind of cool shit happens, and then he's like, wait a second, like what's going on? And then like he sees that one of them has a watch on their hand. So like we flash forward to like the nurse guy that was like looking at Itadori when we thought he was dead, from his heart being ripped out by Sukuna. And then he's like, or she, the nurse like lady's like, hey, like these guys are human, like they're not curses, they've just been like totally altered. So like you can kind of see Itadori, like he's listening in, and he's like, he's not feeling good about it, he's like super upset. Like we can kind of tell like he's like, this is where we're kind of seeing some of his character, like he's super like caring, like he's super compassionate towards other people. Like that's becoming more of his character. It didn't seem like maybe at first he was like that, like maybe he was just trying to like, you know, complete that goal because of his grandpa. It was like his dying wish, but like in general he just seems like super compassionate. So he's like really feeling off. And I think this nurse character, she's gonna be either like super strong or like super like helpful in some way, because like, or she's gonna get like super close to Gojo or Itadori, because like even like they're talking through the phone from a distance, her and Nanamine, and she's like, hey, like let Itadori know, like, you know, it's not his fault. Like somehow she knew like he was fucking like, he wasn't vibing with it, like he was like fucking feeling real beat up, like he just like destroyed some defenseless human or something. So I think she's gonna be kind of important. She's gonna kind of stick around. I don't think she's just like some off character. She has a role somewhere, and I'm not quite sure where it's at. But yeah, so they kind of find out those guys aren't real curses, and they're like, what the fuck? Like what's going on? Like, this hasn't happened before. Like, these are just humans that have been like transformed. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, so like they're trying to figure out what to do next. And then after that, we flash to again. Now, the high school kid that was getting his ass kicked that followed the curse down the alley, they're like in the cursed white-haired guy, they're like in his lair just chilling, talking. And he's basically like, he's kind of explaining to him about like how curses work and shit. And he's like, this is where we kind of get like our first like big like foreshadow, like because like when Gojo fought that volcano head dude, like he was like, oh, like this dude could talk, like where'd that come from? Like we've never seen that. And Gojo's like the most powerful, he's been stated as so far in the anime as the most powerful Jujutsu sorcerer. So he's like, oh, this dude could talk. Like he was like, he's never seen shit like this before. He's never seen anyone like this, like a curse like this anyways, like with this like kind of ability. And he's like, yeah, he's super strong, but like even though he fucking totally annihilates him, like fucking nothing, like crazy, like, oh, that was so badass. Anyways, but like, yeah, so this is the first foreshadow. He's like, the white-haired curse is telling this high school kid, he's like yeah, there's he's like, he explains to him like curses are born from basically like mankind's feelings and fears about whatever it may be, boogeyman, whatever, this, that. And then he's like, but there's other stuff like that isn't like you wouldn't normally think of scary, that people have fears about. And the kid's like, yeah, you're right. He's like, natural disasters. And he's like, this kid's kind of smart. And the curse just like smiles. He's like, yeah, like he's like vibing with this kid. He's like it's so stress free talking to you. It's kind of super creepy. But yeah, like when he tells him that like the natural disasters, he's like, yeah, those things, those have so much like pent up like emotion of fear towards them, like the natural disasters, like that they've been constantly getting this energy from all that fear and all that angst and all that stuff. And we get a little picture of the volcano head guy, so like, and like two other figures. So we're like, oh, okay, so like the volcano head guy is like people like just being living in fear of volcano eruptions and shit like that. So like, and then there's a picture of two other guys, like I don't even know like what they are. One might be kind of like a tree looking dude with horns. I can't really tell. The other one, he looks kind of like, I can't really even describe what he is. But so like, I feel like we foreshadow some more. I think it might actually be the tree like guy that saved the volcano guy. If you remember that, like when Gojo like basically turned that volcano guy into nothing but like half of a head, like it's the guy that saved him, I'm pretty sure, actually, now that I look at him. But yeah, and then there's another figure that I don't particularly remember seeing previously. But yeah, this white-haired guy's like, yeah, these guys they're basically the natural, essentially anyways. He doesn't flat out say it, but he's like, these like things that have been gaining power through this that are not what you would typically think of for a curse, like a natural disaster, have been just gaining power. Like they've just stayed, they've just stayed inactive and they've stayed discreet till now. So they've gotten so much power that they've gained like knowledge and wisdom and shit like that. So pretty cool foreshadowing. You might miss it if you don't like really pay attention, because this guy's like super creepy and he's hard to take your eyes off of. But anyways, he's like, so are you like, what kind of curse are you? He's like, I'm just people's hate towards each other. So I was like, oh, that's kind of dark, but that's like perfect, because he was not liking those guys that kicked his ass, and now we're like bothering him in the movie theater. So pretty crazy. But anyways, when we get back to Itadori and towards the end of the episode, they're like, this is our game plan. Like, we got footage of the theater. There's some kid ran out, and it's the kid talking to the white-haired curse, who's the curse of people's hate towards each other. He's like, you're gonna go check him out, and like I'm gonna go, like, then like you and the assistant guy are gonna like go check him out. and I'm gonna go check out this other thing. So he sends him off, and Nana means like chilling, and the assistant comes back after they leave, and he's like, hey, like, you know exactly like where he's at, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, but I don't want to tell the Itadori because he's just a kid, like. And that kind of it references back to the earlier in part in the episode. He's like, he was calling Itadori a kid when they were fighting the two demons. So he's like, he's kind of got this like sense, like, you know, he kind of said it earlier, like he didn't respect Gojo. So like, I kind of feel like the same towards Itadori. He's like, he doesn't really like acknowledge him as far as like a working professional in what they're doing. So he like, it feels like he's gonna, he being Nami is gonna take care of like everything, and he's gonna like have Itadori basically do almost like this that distract Itadori to do something else. But it's kind of crazy, like the assistant and Itadori are like pulling up on the kid, the high school kid, and Itadori's got like some he's holding this cage, and he's got like two little cute little like curse demons in there, and they're just like chilling. So like, I'm like, what's going on there? Like, that's gonna be interesting. I don't know what they're gonna do with that. If he's gonna be like, hey, can you see these? Like, if you could see these, your fucking ass is on the ground, bro. Like, or like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I don't know what the deal is with that. But yeah, so definitely a episode of like building up. We're building up towards something. Introducing Nanamin, who's actually like, I kind of liked him. At first you're like, fuck, I'm gonna hate this guy, but as soon as like he gets introduced by Gojo, you're like, oh, he's funny. But yeah, just a building episode. Probably gonna get some cool stuff later. Oh, I forgot to mention, when they're talking after all the fight stuff that happened with the two demons on at the batting cage, Nanami kind of mentions another, like, this is like another foreshadowing thing. He mentions like evil jujutsu sorcery. So this is potentially like, I think, where we're going with this high school kid. I don't know if he's going to be a short-term antagonist or a long-term, but I definitely think he might have some at least short-term antagonist potential with dark jujutsu sorcery. So just keep an eye on that, or they were teasing it for later for something else. We definitely know the guy working with the curses, probably a dark jujutsu sorcery user. So, but yeah, pretty good episode. Like I said, the quality alone of just like the animations is worth it to watch this. If you're not watching it, you're fucking up. But yeah, anyways, good episode. Can't wait for the next one. I doing other anime reviews too, not just Jujutsu Kaisen. So check those out if you like some of these series. I'm doing mostly the newer series right now. But yeah, thanks for watching. This is 5 Leaf, and we'll see you next time. And They